was a lot colder than it looks. The weather is absolutely dog shit out here today. But that's okay, because the weather sucks out here. That means everybody else wants to stay in there, and I get all this. It's myself. So let's talk specifically about your fitness goals. Look, I'm not a licensed personal trainer, so this isn't legal advice, but this is what I used to look like. If I go from this to this, I could teach you a thing or two to at least get you started on a fitness journey that you're gonna be actually excited and proud to take on. Look, if you've been a small guy for a while and you're trying to get big, maybe you're 18, 19 years old, I'm gonna give you 3 blocks of advice that are going to absolutely change how you perceive getting in shape. But first, let me do a backflip. I don't know what the fuck that was, but I don't think it was a backflip. I do know it hurt. What's the deal, Buzz? You ain't ever seen a naked man before? All right, gentlemen, so block number 1 is stop overcomplicating exercise. Look, let me take you back to 2017 to 2018. That was the first time I legitimately picked up weights with the intention of exercising. I was wearing a pair of jeans, plain white t-shirt, in my mom's living room. I had just had a full belly from a great plate of pasta. Now at that time I was simply skinny. I wasn't in shape, but it was nice seeing that me eating a good diet was starting to put some meat on me. So naturally, I took the next step. I laid down on the bench and did a few reps. When I got back up off that bench, my abs were popped out, my chest looked all big, my arms were all swole, my veins were sticking out. And I did this in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. And eventually we put this machine into the basement. But now I was making time to do it. I was putting on a pair of shorts, putting on a tank top, going down there with some water, and making it a point to do actual exercises. I began following Athlete and X on YouTube, and I began learning different variations of exercises. I had not purchased a program. I had not stepped in a gym. I did not have meal prep. I did not drop hundreds of dollars on supplements. I ran with this routine for years before I ever bought a gym membership. And then I enlisted. Do you think in Army basic combat training, they have full-scale gyms for thousands of trainees to use? Negative. For the first few weeks, we were getting big off of good food and body weight exercises. I say all this to say that you don't need expensive clothes, you don't need expensive supplements, you don't need a gym membership, and you do not need a program to start getting in shape. If you're truly new to a fitness journey, you can get in really good shape without any of the things I just mentioned. Which brings me to my second point. Stop making exercise a chore. As you've seen how I started this video, I was at the pool. That is my workout for today. Swimming is probably one of the greatest exercises you can do, but that is for an entirely separate video. The other day, I had an option between going to the gym to get on a treadmill, but alternatively, I went with a friend to run some trails. We ran 4 miles. I enjoyed every bit of that 4-mile trail run simply because I was having a good time with good company and it was not a chore. Let's look at this from a performance standpoint. 5 years ago when I joined the Army, we would do a fitness test once every few weeks. One of these fitness tests we did on a track and the other we did on a road around the same time. Now the track was boring. 8 laps of absolutely dreadful exercise. Now the road, on the other hand, the road was far more interesting than the track was. The track had been so boring that my run time was roughly 18 minutes, but the road was so much more interesting. I ran a 13.5-minute 2-mile. If you are dreading exercising, you're only going to make it an insufferable experience, and your performance is going to take a hit. And this brings me to my third and final point. Do literally anything. Right now, I'm sick as hell. Going to the gym would put everybody else at risk. It would be a dreadful experience for me, and my performance would be dog shit. I was still able to get a pump today. Alternatively, I could have sat inside, watched Amazon Prime. I would feel self-conscious. I would feel lazy. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been doing this shit for 7 years like I have. Doing anything is so much better than sitting on your ass and doing absolutely nothing. Everybody in the world has enough time to get out of bed and do some push-ups. The only people who truly have an excuse in this department are people who don't have arms. So just to recap, I gave you guys 3 blocks of advice today. Stop overcomplicating it, stop making it a chore, and do literally anything. If you follow these 3 blocks of advice, I guarantee you're gonna start seeing more success earlier on in your fitness journey. One last thing, we just hit 350 subscribers. Once I hit 400 subscribers, I'm going to do a detailed breakdown of how and when I began my self-improvement journey, what was involved in that, and how I stayed motivated throughout. If you are not subscribed yet, click that subscribe button. I will see you hoes in the next video.